Brothers, hear me out. Let's say I wanted to buy a plot of undeveloped land, pick related. It's $88,000 in Oregon. Why couldn't I do the following? If I work a crappy Amazon warehouse tier job paying $20 an hour, I'll take $624 a week or $2,496 a month after taxes. Assuming I can live on the bare minimum of expense, $150 a month on food/rent, we're at $2,346. I can achieve this by sleeping in my car, crashing on friends and family's couches, etc. This works out to $28,152 a year. Given the cost of the property is only $88,000 after 3.13 years, I'll have enough to pay for it outright in cash. Then I can retire on the land and collect free government gibs as I do little crap jobs to sustain myself and improve the land. Why wouldn't this work? It's only 3 years of suffering for a lifetime of getting away from it all. Where are you getting a 0% interest loan for raw land? Most banks won't do land loans except with a 50% down payment and crazy rates. Also, if you can get a loan for $90,000, you could literally just buy SPY shares with it and use the growth/dividends to rent a studio apartment. You wouldn't have to work at all. No loan. I'd pay for it in cold hard cash. Where are you living in the meantime? A tent. Oh yeah, $150 for rent and food. LOL, you have to 10x that. Rent is $500 if you live in a college town in the mountains with multiple roommates. $150 will get you a studio apartment in Zimbabwe. I'd most likely bounce around from couch to couch here and there, but mostly sleep in my car. I have a few friends/family that would be cool with me parking and sleeping in their driveway. Shower at the gym. It wouldn't be for long, mind you, just 3 years. Get a CDL and just live in the truck while you make double that of working at a warehouse. It would definitely cut the time required to raise the money down significantly. Still, the time required to get a CDL, school, landing a job, paying school fees, etc. shouldn't be discounted. Warehouse job you can get as long as you have a pulse. Worthless desert land in arguably the most isolated and desolate part of the lower 48. I'm a pilot based out of Bend. I fly to these cities in Central Oregon like Lakeview, John Day and Burns pretty regularly. There just isn't a lot, and the land is really harsh to live on. Not trying to poo-poo your idea even. It's certainly beautiful and striking in its own way, but it's not fit for human habitation really. If you can handle the winters, I'd say upper Midwest way before anywhere in Central Oregon. I've got a house with your name on it in this small, quaint rural town. You either get 1, property taxed to death by limprist lawyers in NYC/LA that confiscate your property to be sold into another scam REIT, or 2, Monsanto scientist virgins and Bill Gates find a way to garnish your property to plow it over for glyphosate GMO corn to make more Fritos Lays so the annual 1 million Guatemalans having 8 kids each crossing the border don't drop below obese BMI and instantly die from Ozempic complications. Yes, capitalism. Go work on boats or oil rigs for 2 years with room and board and you can buy it outright, although you're probably better off buying something in rural Iowa that's an actual house. I would do it, but the crushing loneliness is so brutal that I'd rather try to turn my $100,000 into $1 million or die at this point. 88 brother, 88. And you expect that exact piece of land to be on the market without increasing in price for 3 years? Also, I don't get how you expect to make a living after you move to your property? Money grows on trees in that particular plot of land? That being said, it would be quite impressive if you actually managed to live like a hobo while saving money, especially after you have a few thousand just parked there, not even earning interest. Even more impressive if you stay with friends and none of them goes, dude, you work full time, you don't help financially and you barely eat, what the heck are you doing with your salary? You'd need to figure out how to hook up power, collect and filter water, and internet probably, unless you want to go full TED. You'll need to get this done before winter. I doubt you'll want to deal with constant wood burning heat. It's doable but requires the efforts of pioneers. Also, guns are mandatory obviously. Bears will come for your Cheetos in the middle of the night. Also, you'd need some other income source to pay for the taxes, even if they are low. This can be done with investments or some online job, thus making internet a necessity. Probably not crypto either. You won't be paying taxes once a presidential cycle. Yeah, I'm thinking about it too. If you actually want to live like that and really believe that you can, sure, why not? A lot of the people who say they want to do this wouldn't last a month. Why slave for 3 years to live like Forrest Anon? Rural Eastern Oregon. Where the heck are you going to work at an Amazon warehouse? Better yet, where are you going to work? What's the drive like to civilization? Several hours. Might as well live in Alaska where there's cheaper land. What you do is start your own city and get people to come to it. Lakeview is situated in the Goose Lake Valley at the foot of the Warner Mountains and at the edge of Oregon's high desert country. Its economy is based on agriculture, lumber production, and government activities. In addition, tourism is an increasingly important part of the city's economy. Tourism? Logging? Farming? What are you going to do, OP? LOL. Holy heck LMAO. 3 years of the prime of your life and you want to spend it living in a car. And the only job you can get is a warehouse job for Amazon. Let me save you from yourself, you have 2 options. 1. Go study something in demand that's hiring for $60K plus per year, nurse, computer science, engineer, HVAC, whatever. 2. Work on your fitness and looks to find a girl to mooch off of. Man, I wish I lived in America. That same property in Canada would be like $500K. Better listing info. Taxes would only be a couple $100 a year. Why don't you just take a $100K job and pay it off in a year? The bigger problem is that you don't have the skills to improve the land anyway. But do you want to be close to Cali? This is hardly Innawoods. You can buy an undeveloped section in Tennessee for pennies and chuck a Walmart shed on it for basically nothing. I had a similar but not the same idea a while ago, buying a big patch of land in some rural place and installing solar panels or something to live off. Sounds like a nice idea, but I don't even have a car and living in the middle of nowhere is a nice fantasy but probably a crap reality. Why the heck would you buy land in a libcuck garbage state like Oregon? Buy cheaper land in Idaho or Wyoming and invest in guns. On a non-bug out note, I've been somewhat interested in vacant lots and camper living. I could live in a truck camper or RV and move between a couple of small empty plots that I'd purchase and in exchange sell my expensive house. I could probably pocket $250K if I sell my house, and I could snag empty residential property for about $80K and a camper vehicle for another $540K depending on condition, features and age. There's real potential to do this, live debt-free, and work in a major metro while stacking cash without making mortgage payments. Idiot with regarded plan craps up his catalog, it's all so tiring. OP, if you're able to live on $150 a month, that $88K can earn you around $200 a month on average just from the most basic bitch dividends from whatever top 30 Dow company you want to put it in. For a lifetime of getting away from it all. Because this isn't true. You can never get away. They will come after you and your children. I'm currently on a family vacation in Wisconsin Dells, and while the town itself is chintzy as all hell, Wisconsin does seem beautiful, cheap and white. Any advice for trying to make OP's dream come true in a less desolate part of the country? Well, my dream wouldn't really be to Uncle Ted it out and live off Gibbs, but more like, have somewhere a couple hours away to get away from it all the way people do summer cabins. Just, not a cabin that costs me as much as a decent condo in Chicago. How much government Gibbs can you get? Oregon gets pretty cold and warm over the year, so it'd be worth having temperature control sorted out. Sleeping in your car at negative temperatures would be rough. Might be worth waging for another year or two to help save some money for emergency expenses, car repairs, etc., and so you can buy things like a wood stove, solar panels, batteries, insulation, the sort of stuff that you can't just build yourself easily, but would add a lot of convenience. This is unironically a good idea. But you can definitely find cheaper land.